to talk a little bit now about your kids, your children. If you can go back to that moment, that's another very one of the most difficult parts of a separation is telling your children. And this might, even be emotional for you to talk about. How old were they? How did you tell them? And knowing what you know now, what might you have done differently?
Okay, let's think about that. I don't remember, to be honest, at the specific time when we told them. Right when the decision happened, we decided to continue to live in the same house. We just lived in different bedrooms, and we actually lived in the same house under the same roof for 1.5 years into our divorce. Mostly because of the fight of who is going where. But at the same time, when I look back, it was a really good thing for my kids because their world did not have to shift. Ours did, as we kind of came in and out on our days with the kids and gave each other space in the same home. But to see them developing a sense of understanding of what was starting to go on with their parents, but we were still there for them in their home. We weren't changing anything for them at the time. I think it's called nesting. I actually don't know the term. There's a term for it when the parents move out but keep the kids at home. And we started counseling as a family. We did divorce counseling immediately, and then we started family counseling immediately. And I think through those conversations, the children started to understand what was going on. And it was so hard at first, mostly because now mom is not around 98% of the time anymore, and dad was all of a sudden in a role of 50%, and we don't know how to do this, and this is frustrating because it's not the same as you, and this is upsetting for us. That was a big transition for them, and then having to transition on your on and off days for them to see go or me go was really hard for them. But they had to get used to it, that they had two parents that loved them equally, that wanted to spend time with them equally. And we had to relay that message to them and endorse each other, and trust. I trust your dad. He's a good dad. He's going to be there for you. He's meeting your needs. And I will be back. And then vice versa, when my ex-husband would leave the house. So that transition was hard, but I think it would have been harder had we lived in two separate homes at the time. And then over time, they naturally started to get the idea that, we were living two different lives, and we were not going to get back together, but that it wasn't their fault, and that no matter what, we were still there for them. And we were figuring ourselves out and deciding on what it's going to look like in the future, and keeping them really in the know. I really feel that it's important to communicate with your kids, let them grieve, let them be upset, let them share their feelings with you. And it's okay for them to be going through that process. I think during this process, sometimes parents forget about their kids, and it's important to check in with them and see how they're doing. We're so caught up in our own emotions, but how are the kids really doing?